So hi everybody and welcome back to the C++ tutorial series for absolute beginners. This is video 329 and in this video we want to talk about the move constructor. For this purpose we go on the webpage cppreference.com, click on language, and here in the section classes we go down to the move constructor and click on this one. And now I want to mention that this description of the move constructor here is wrong. The right description of the move constructor is down when you scroll here a little bit down, and it starts here with this sentence. Let's read it together to see what the move constructor does. Alright, it starts here: move constructors typically transfer the resources held by the argument. For example, pointers to dynamically allocated objects, field descriptors, TCP sockets, thread handles, etc. Rather, they make copies of them and leave the argument in some valid but otherwise indeterminate state. Alright, that is that. And what does this mean? So you see, a move constructor is trying to avoiding copy. It's not all time possible, but if it's possible, then just for example, the pointer will change, and so you avoid copying, and this will boost your performance. And as a programmer you will try to use this as often as you can for big data, because that will boost your performance. Alright, that's good. And like I said before, this description is wrong. That is for the copy constructor. Alright, let's start here with the syntax. So the first syntax here is it starts like all time with the class name, because all constructor starts with the class name. And then we have here a parameter list, and the parameter list is very important because with the parameter list we distinguish the constructors. Here an example, we have here a struct called x. Here we have our move constructor, and you can see it starts with the class name like all constructors, but important, we have here this double ampersand, which is an indicator for an x value when we try to move something. And this is the first parameter, this also with this type here, and you can read this here in the parameter list section. For example, you can see it must start all time one of these possibilities, but all time with double ampersand with an x value, which is which we already learned is for moving something. And but you can read here as well, you can have more parameters, but all the other parameters must have default arguments and must come after the first move value argument. Here is an example. This time they use an union, and you can see now we have more parameters, but first of all it starts again with our x value parameter with the class name here again, and then we can have other parameters, and these other parameters must have default values. And here is an example: when you are not using a default value, you get an error. Alright, that was the first syntax, and now we go here to the second syntax. Then you can see till here it's almost the same like this one, and now we have a function body. And remember, when we talk about constructors, you are normally constructing parameters with this syntax here. Remember this one here with this colon, and then you are trying to assign values here on constructing when you use the colon here most time if it's possible. But you will see that many programmers will also use the function body to initialize values. So this one is the good way. If it's possible, try using that with the colon. But remember, if there is a long list, many programmers will put it here in the function body too when there are no problems. Alright, that's very important to remember. Then we go to the next one here, and you can see now again class name, but this time single parameter list, which means it must be one of this here. And now we have the word default here, and we already learned what default means. Default means you are forcing the compiler to create this move constructor, because sometimes the compiler will not create the move constructor. There are certain circumstances which we will talk later down here, but you as a programmer decide it should still create a move constructor. For example, you created a custom move constructors, yeah, and then you say still make a default one, and then you are doing it this way. All right, and then the next line here, you can see we have here again our class name parameter list like on top, but this time we use the word delayed, and we learned also delayed. Delayed means just you want not that the compiler is creating a move constructor, because sometimes if you are not providing a move constructor, the compiler is creating implicitly, which means behind the scene, still a move constructor. And with this word delayed, you are forcing the compiler, yes, not to create it. All right, then the next line here, you can see this part is exactly this part which we already talked. The new part is only this one here, and we already learned this one as well. This double colon sign means the scope resolution operator, which means the compiler tries to find this part here, the right hand side, which is defined in the left hand side. And where are we using this most time? Outside of a class. For example, let's go here, let's make here we have a struct. This syntax, which we already talked, is inside a class that was, for example, this here. But let's say I move this syntax outside of the class, which means outside here, for example here, then you have to use just this syntax here with colon, which means find this syntax here there where I defined it, and in this case would be a x colon x and so on, like this one here. All right, then we go to the next syntax, which is this one, and you can see this is again outside defined, but this time default. So this part here just outside defined like before. So that is that for this video, and in the next video we will talk about some special cases and this examples here down. So if you have any questions, like all time, write in the comment section. See you next video. Bye and good luck.